Hey everybody! Welcome back to Dead Cells. This is the Hello Darkness, my old friend update. I did a trial run with this and got my butt kicked. So we're gonna start over on an episode that's actually fit for release. Heavy crossbow and rapier to start with. So what changed in this update? Well, essentially, there's been a new area added to the game, and I basically have no idea where it is. Because in the update, it just said, in the patch notes, I should say, it just said, there's a new area, we're not going to tell you anything about it, you got to find it for yourself. Which to me basically means I will never find it until the comments tell me where it is. Which is fine. I accept that as my lot in life. I'm okay with the rapier level 1, I think. Despite being nerfed, it's not that bad. It was nerfed in the elemental update, I should say. I like that all the updates, and I think this is very important in early access. I think they're doing it the right way. I like that all the updates have had their own name. So many games just do like, and it's not like this fundamentally means this update is more robust than an update in another game, but the fact that they have recognizable patch names is just very nice from the perspective of, like, noting that things have changed instead of being like, did anything change here? I have no idea. So, just when I thought I might be done with Dead Cells for a little while, and indeed I may still be in a few runs once we figure out if there's new content, where it is, if it's worth getting excited for, etc., etc. We'll take things as they may, or take things as they come, but they pulled me back in again, basically. Also, shops now have 5 things for sale instead of 4. There's also balance changes, especially to shields, but they said it's mostly a hotfix. They want to change the way shields work fundamentally in the future, so this is just a hotfix, more or less. Extra damage on a burning target. Bow and infinite arrows is like almost tempting, but I'm going to take cluster bomb. And because we can afford to, I'm going to take the frost grenade as well, but my expectation is that I see it. My expectation is that the frost grenade, unless it's been buffed, is not necessarily an ideal choice, especially on a run in which things have gotten more difficult. I think, at least it makes more sense to me to go for burst damage, but also who knows is the other element of this. To be honest with you, I like having an excuse to play more Dead Cells and enjoy playing more Dead Cells because I think it's a good game. I think it's a great game. Enemies burn when they die. Yeah, this is better. Apparently, Phaser Assassin's Blade is like a classic, excellent combo. There's also new level chunks for the promenade, if I remember the patch notes correctly, which essentially just means that, just be careful. Oh, this is exactly what we want. Sorry, ice grenades. Essentially means that there should be a little bit more variety in the levels that we end up going to there. So I think I'm gonna go there, not just to experience the new stuff, but also because I had the unfortunate timing of taking a curse right before we hit an exit, which means all these easy enemies are no longer gonna be as easy to take out as I would have otherwise expected. So we're gonna go promenade instead, and Babanada Mobadis, of course. Now, putting points into flashbang grenades for no reason. Eventually, Dead Cells is gonna be swapped. Because if there's 2 weeks between updates, which seems very reasonable to me, we're probably gonna run out of content faster than new content gets added. But I can't say that for certain, it's just my expectation. Now this is very scary. I haven't been to the promenade in quite some time, but what I was gonna say is just, for now, let's just enjoy the new content. And the old content, which is still good. Enemies, please. I want, like, a lot of very weak enemies to show up right now, if possible. Go skills, because it doesn't matter. No damage on burning. Poisons. It's a little lifesteal. Fire Torrent, I actually think is pretty good, so sure, we'll take that. And the idea is, basically, we're going to light an enemy on fire, and then we're going to hit him with the cluster bombs, and then we're going to destroy them with the fire torrent, I think is the... So I've already botched it. Let's try this again. So left trigger, right trigger. Most enemies are going to die when that 1-2 combo comes out. This door was sealed 7 seconds ago. 7 seconds ago. Yeah, that could have easily killed me, so... Almost botched that one miserably. Just trying to get to the scroll really quickly. Once we get the 3 enemies taken care of, we should be totally fine, though. Like, there should be almost nothing that can kill us anytime soon, at least. There we go. Curse lifted. That's important. Things were getting a little scary there. Now we can actually start to, you know, rock some of these combinations that might... Oh, nice. Good damage there, he said sarcastically, and hope people didn't notice. Of course, as soon as I say we're completely fine, as soon as I gain the ability to take damage, I start taking damage. It's like a weird self-fulfilling prophecy or something, but we're actually fairly stacked as far as, like, our scrolls go, which is surprising given the fact that we've taken the easiest possible floor to get to, even though for a while we were getting our butt kicked on this floor as well. If we really hustle, we might be able to hit the timed door that happens after the incomplete one. I'm not going to try to force it 100%, but if there's enemies that we have, like, no reason to fight, suppose we might as well at least see if we can give it the old college try. You know what? I'll take a second Curse Chest. Curse Chest cannot stop me in the early game. Not extra damage on a burning target, and as a result, we don't take it. It's a complicated situation here. Okay, I'm mad. I tried to walk past them to get on the ladder here. As long as we don't freak out, we should be fine. But should is a 4-letter word in video games. So you gotta be very, very careful. What a bizarrely grandiose sentence for playing a video game on YouTube. Should is a 4-letter word in my world. See, that it's an English idiom because most swear words are 4 letters long, so we're implying that that should is a bad word that shouldn't be uttered. Plus 100% damage on a burning target. I think you gotta take this over the fire torrent. The other alternative, I suppose, is that we could take fire torrent and our bow as our primaries, but I don't think you need to get that cute in Dead Cells. At least my experience is definitely that you don't need to go for that level of cuteness. I don't think I care about sandals, even with the update. Like, apparently kicks have been added, but I don't know if it's like kicks are new attack animations for the sandals or what. Basically, I have no idea is what I'm trying to get at. I like the idea of having a guaranteed, like, burst crit from the Assassin's Blade, even if our current strength level is, like, literally 0. So the idea would be that we'd light an enemy on fire and then get the guaranteed crits with the infantry bow. As you can see, some things never change. For everything else, there's MasterCard. That's not the way that expression goes, but the left trigger, right trigger spam with fire still seems to work like 100%. I would have thought that that would be a high candidate to be nerfed, but again, I'm just one person who doesn't necessarily know the ins and outs of what's happening and from a game design standpoint here. Got a lot of power out of this already. Yeah, good. That was good damage. That was really smart. There got to be a shop or something over here. Even better. Free item. Spike shield with stats might be acceptable, but without stats is not good enough. Spike shield, 2 out of 10. With rice, 8 out of 10. That's right. I'm down with all the current memes. I'm hip. I'm with it. Taka 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 taka. What comes after this? It's the ramparts. I don't know. We got to beat the incomplete one by like 12 minutes. I don't see it happening. I think we should just focus on getting the W here. That's right. Getting the 2008 Josh Brolin film about the then recently relieved of duty President of the United States. What a strange way to phrase that. Did that come out when George W. Bush was still in office or just after he was in office? I can't recall. been a while. I love Josh Brolin, though. How can you not, dude? The Goonies, No Country for Old Men, Tommy Lee Jones in Men in Black 3, Sicario. He's like the ultimate dude to get in your movie if you want a cocky, middle-aged asshole. It's written on his LinkedIn profile. Has had sexual intercourse with all of your aunts. All of your aunts. I'm looking for a gift for my aunt. Get her a picture of Josh Brolin. She'll be down with it, 100%. I promise you that. Don't ask why. Some questions are better left unanswered. And for everything else, there's MasterCard. I find it tough to be like, oh, this patch doesn't seem like it's made things harder. Because we are, for the first time in like 20 years, taking the easiest possible approach here. So if it's super hard, it's almost takeable. If it's, I mean, it probably is takeable and still winnable, but if it is a harder patch, like if it's balanced in the direction that's more in the game's favor, we probably won't realize it until later on in this run. Covers the ground in oil. Nah, it doesn't seem good enough. Because right now, we're basically, you know, stealing from tomorrow to pay ourselves today. We're making things easy right now, knowing that the quality and cut of the loot that we're getting right now is not going to be as good as it would be if we went to the ossuary or even the sewers. But at the same time, we're also making things harder on ourselves later. We'll see shortly if that is going to be a problem. For right now, though, it is hard to deny. It seems like left trigger, right trigger basically solves all of our problems the same way it has ever since we figured out that that's the optimal solution. Oh no, lots of enemies. Whatever. Oh, never mind. They're all dead. My mistake. Again, I'm not ragging on Dead Cells too much for this. We probably played more of this game than you should play in early access. But oh my god. Disregard, disregard. You could have died right there. So instead, what we're going to do is wait till this guy figures out how to teleport. And then we're going to light him on fire, and then we're going to roll. And then we're going to light him on fire. Seems to get the job done. Nah, damage taken reduced by 10%. I honestly prefer projectiles to deal less damage. Like substantially less damage. We are, like, so light on scrolls, dude. We got a lot of skills, and I respect and appreciate that, but we could really use at least one more level of HP, like. I'm not trying to act like I need infinity HP. Getting a little bit extra would be nice, though. Freeze enemies when you parry. I think shields, you know, one of the things that they talked about in the patch notes that seems to ring true for me is shields need a complete rework. I'm glad they're approaching it that way. They just don't offer enough value right now, in my opinion. But we've gone over that many a time. So, Bloodsword 4. Toxic Cloud, extra damage on a frozen target, applies flammable oil to the victim upon deployment, but the extra damage on a burning target is almost impossible to pass up. Okay, we'll definitely take damage reduced by 30%. That's very good. Even though this gives you +1 strength, it's kind of a tough sell, I think. 125 damage. This is 158, plus it causes bleeding and releases poison when they die. 4 seconds recharge time. The cluster bomb is 3.2. So you would hit them with the meat grinder, then you would hit them with the fire. 143 damage per second. I find it, and again, it's a little like maybe my personality is too risk averse here. It doesn't seem like the right call. If we're already killing things so easily with left trigger, right trigger, sure, our sword's gonna stink. But it seems like largely borderline completely inconsequential. Yeah, our sword is actually like, it's better now. It's still not great, but it's certainly a lot better now with this version of the blood sword. But again, like, we can decimate whole pods in like no time flat. The thing with the cluster bomb is we don't even have to hit. Like, for the shield bearers, we can have the grenade bounce off their shield and it'll still get a hit. And the same applies to enemies who are, like, you know, at a distance. Okay, so we definitely, I mean, I want strength, but we gotta take HP to amp up our chances of survival, especially knowing, you know, that from this point, like, the real Dark Souls starts here, right? A lot of enemies down here. I'll give them that. We're gonna heal up. It's our second heal on the ramparts, which makes me feel somewhat bad about myself, because I thought we'd come down here and, you know, it would be like we came back to our high school after being in college for a year. We'd be like, check it out. I'm the smartest person in this joint. I'm the best MFer in Dead Cells ever. Turns out, we're not the best MFer in Dead Cells ever. Probably. I'd like to think that, but we don't want to go down to the Black Bridge fight just yet. You know what I appreciate about Dead Cells, and I'm not saying I'm the only person that's noticed this, but I indeed have not heard anybody talking about this. It tries to keep, like, a geometrically sensible world. Like, I believe that there is, like, an internal map that shows the layout of locations. So, like, sometimes to get to the Black Bridge, you gotta go way up if you're starting in the sewers. Sometimes you gotta go way down if you're on the ramparts. Like, gives the idea that you are in one consistent location where, like, the rules actually apply. It's a very small thing, but a nice touch nonetheless. Got a decent combo here, though. Throwing knife with ammo +3. Honestly, not irrelevant, but not very relevant. I think bleed has been, don't quote me on this, but I'm just going on anecdotal evidence here, anecdotal reports. Seems like bleed has been nerfed to take, or to last way less long. Why did that expression come out so strange? It doesn't last nearly as long as it used to, it seems. Maybe stacks in general have been changed. It's kind of an elegant fix to fire being, like, so good that it's broken right now. So we're gonna be at 414. It's not great as far as our stats go, but it's not horrible for one. Let's go. And then beyond this, is there anything over here? None of those points come from our inventory right now. Which means that we basically, this represents the floor of our stats. We can't get any lower than this. It was a strange layout here. I got very confused for a second. I was like, there's branching paths. What does this mean for the lore? I'm not that kind of guy. Alright, we got a very simple combo. Basically, it's just left trigger, right trigger. It would this is like the sort of thing you don't want to say before you enter this fight. But I was gonna say, I sort of wanna, I would find it refreshing to lose against the incomplete one, because it's been so long. It just seems, if you play your cards right, like it's almost impossible to get to catch that L here. How was my vernacular? I've been spending more time on social media lately. Yeah, don't roll into that. Okay, that's last invincibility, which means he is actually extraordinarily dusted. Dude, his shield lasts for, like, way less time now. That's excellent. That's a very positive change, I think. Easiest money of all time. 16 minutes. You're not going to be able to make that that timed door. But we're in a decent position here as we head down to the fjord and mark, like, roughly to what to this point is the halfway point of the run. But I don't know, maybe, what's the timing on this again? 6 minutes. Oh, so it's 10 minutes to make it here. Not likely. You know what I would like to see, and this is way more work, but not every item in Dead Cells benefits from damage scaling in the same way. You know, a grenade benefits most obviously from damage scaling, and a sword, for example, like just a balanced sword. But like, what do you care about upping the damage on a flashbang, right? Like, it's actually near irrelevant, I think. It would be cool if items that didn't benefit from damage scaling had, like, their own benefit to upgrading them. Like, a flashbang had, like, a longer duration of enemies being stunned or something like that. Because, same for shield. Like, who cares about a spiked shield getting a damage upgrade? I'd rather see, like, you know, oh, assault shield. Spike shield was actually kind of a bad example, but assault shield, like, your dash distance goes, like, way up, or the cooldown for using it is, like, 0. You can just chain attacks or something, but I understand that stuff, almost, it has to be curated more so it's a lot harder to implement that kind of stuff, especially quickly, because it's man hours, basically. No, I mean, Fire Grenade 6 is definitely usable. We could just roll double fire grenades, and then we get, like, unlimited ammo for the bow. Seems like kind of a cool idea, but we also do, at the present moment, have, like, an unbelievably good synergy. It's a synergy we've seen many times before, but, you know, I think I would be kind of an idiot not to take advantage of it. Because it's the greatest. Wow. I always, whenever I take damage from those guys, I'm always just dumbfounded at my own idiocy, basically. I don't know how much we want to worry about trying to recover our HP versus just like, hey, heal up and don't be an idiot because you're doing fine. And essentially, if you just left trigger, right trigger, no enemy can stop you forever. That guy almost lives, which is very surprising to me. Offensive on a human level. But surprise is a 4-letter word in video games, dude. Never let anyone tell you I can't poke fun at myself. It's a very ridiculous expression. This must be our entrance, yeah, to the top floor. You know what I would love to see? Another quality of life improvement. You got a great thing going with the teleporters. You took one of the best things about Enter the Gungeon and implemented it in your own game. On the fjord, put a teleporter on the top level. I don't know why you wouldn't. Maybe it's like, it's too, the way the teleporters trigger is just when you pass them on like a horizontal level right now. So you could accidentally trigger the top floor teleporter without having actually been there. Just by walking past its, like, X coordinate, but I'm getting into a little bit of a conjecturous hypothesis here. I'm just spitballing. What a gross phrase. I didn't make it up. Gross phrase nonetheless. Hey, wanna come over? We'll spitball some ideas. That sounds gross, Jeremy. You're fired. No, you don't understand. It's a colloquialism. Your fancy words out of your college, boy. Nah, I mean, we haven't been hit much, but we've already rolled the dice on 2 curse chests so far. I don't feel a need to really go for broke with more of them. I will say, we're not using our infantry bow at all. I don't know what we should replace it with, but it's not useless, it's just not that good. Excuse me, streamer, I think you mean not that well. No, that's constructed a straw man just to destroy it, but still. Phaser. It's always oil and gas with these, I don't know why. I guess you can't apply damage to enemies with the phaser. Like, plus 100% damage on a burning enemy doesn't really make sense. So there's only a couple of different spectrums on which you can act on it, but... So we got a quick bow. Does extra damage on a crit, has extra ammo. Doesn't seem like the right call. Synergies are too good. I'd like to replace, I'd like to replace it with something that's not a bow, basically, is what I'm getting at. Bows in the house! Yes, yes it is. The problem, I mean, actually, you know what would be perfect? Is a bow with infinite arrows. Not a bow with infinite arrows. Extra damage and... Dagger of the Sadistic Cult 5? Excuse me? That's not what this used to be called. Swarm of Biters is good. Inflicts a critical blow if they're bleeding, burning, or poisoned. And then inflicts extra damage on a crit. So this is actually our item. This used to be the Sadist Sword, I think. Flamethrower turret. Increase your damage by 10% when you're close. I don't see the value of it. Dude, things are way more expensive now. I see what you've done here. Shots pierce. So we can make a target bleed more easily with the throwing knives level 6. Flashbang covers them in oil, but we don't really want to replace that stuff. I think we'd take throwing knives 6. And just spam this for bleed ability. Okay, so I see what you're doing now. I see what you're doing. There's some sincere balance changes, without a doubt. Like, this dagger is totally new. Well, it used to be the Sadist Sword, but still. Let's go for skills here. We're still just going for spam ability. I think 425, you know, we might be a little under-leveled relative to the norm if we go ossuary like Prison Depths, but I don't think we're much away from the standard. Probably? I don't know. So this takes us up, if I remember correctly. If I've done my deduction properly, I believe this is correct. And, yeah, don't handle it like that. That was very, very dangerous. So the idea is that our sword is going to do way more damage. Good time for a heal. Our sword is going to do way more damage against targets that are afflicted with things that we can afflict them with. So the downside is that it still seems to not really do that much damage. Like, it's still taking us like 5 hits to finish enemies off. But it's more than 5 for certain, but it's very easy for us to enable it. I don't know. I think we should be fine. I do think, and, you know, it's hard to get me to agree to a nerf because usually I'm pretty bad at video games, so a nerf is usually, it disproportionately affects me because of my badness, is what I'm saying. Not to make it all about me. I don't think we want that shield. But making things cost more money makes a lot of sense. I do worry that if you have like 2 runs in a row in which you die early, you can destroy your economy forever, which is kind of a weird thing to do in a game that's not a strategy game, but hey, you gotta build it back up, you know? I support this decision in principle. We'll see how it works in practice. Because I was finishing like every run with exactly the same amount of money. Maybe this will lead to like a meta of having like... Well, let me put it this way. Maybe this will lead to a meta of not spending money to open every door, even when you know what's inside is an item that you don't care about, like, cough cough, a shield, for example. Is this our exit? It is not, and it's not a curse chest. Fire torrent. Extra damage on a bleeding target. I mean, we could use Fire Torrent as a primary, but it strikes me as not the best way to handle it. I can't complain about this one. Like, for the first real run, because the first one that I did off camera was actually trash. For the first real run of a balance patch, this is like very nice. Mostly because it's consistent. You know, we've seen most of this stuff before, and as a result, it's not overwhelming me with like stuff that I've never seen before, while also amping up the difficulty. Frame rate's making me not the happiest camper in the world, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Oh, maybe you don't want to go down that way. Might have one more room to enter. I mean, we got the infinity heals left at this point. We have no more rooms to enter. All right. So we got the graveyard, the crypt portion of the graveyard. We're not gonna be, and then the boss, but we're not, and possibly the wharf after that, to be fair. We're not going to, unless a miracle happens, we're probably not gonna be at 7x7. You know, we're not gonna be at 7 HP and 7 skills. It would require 4 scrolls of like perfect distribution showing up on this floor. It's unlikely to happen. If we could get 7x6 or 6x7, I would take it. I'd probably rather have the HP. Than anything else. You might say, why even deal with these things? Well, mostly it's out of a sense of duty for whatever reason. But then the other reason is, if we deal with them now, if I accidentally kill them, then we're never gonna get overrun by like all these things that I never should have allowed to exist in the first place. So now we have to use our brain, which is intimidating for me, but there's not really much reason to use 5,400 gold to purchase a strength upgrade. Previously, there would have been no reason not to, but if our run is not in need of strength, we almost have like a donation machine psychology going on now, which is like, is this money better served in this situation on this run, or should we try to save it for the next run where things might be in a worse position and the money could do more good, you know? It's an interesting strategy that they, in my opinion, they seem to have created here. Time will tell if it works. Predicts some belly aching from people frustrated that things are too expensive now. And admittedly, that belly aching, I mean, let's be real, I've made an opinion on this despite having seen it for, you know, 1 second on one run that's pretty good. So it's not really a fair assessment of things, but I've seen people on Twitter be like, not to me, but like, you know, the game's in the consciousness right now, so people are playing it, and they're like, the incomplete one is too hard of a boss, and I'm like, well, I disagree with you. But there was a time when I did agree with you. But I could see you being like, man, now, like I start each run with 5,000 gold, and opening the doors in the mid-game is like 5,000 gold. No longer can we purchase literally everything. So we should probably, you know, rework our strategy there. Ooh, this is a new style of door, I think. Unless it's just, maybe I'm missing something? I don't know. We're doing 100 damage on our crits. That's how you know this is a good run. I mean, we're doing 100 damage quickly, but 100 damage nonetheless. The daggers are so good, though, at taking out, like, the riffraff that spawns. Excuse me, thank you. And to be fair, being able to inflict bleed on 2 enemies at once because of the fact that shots pierce the first target, and then, if we can hit with the dagger, we do crits to both enemies at once as well. It's very much within the realm of possibility. Yeah, that was like 1,000,000% my bad. I got way too greedy there. Getting hit again is not as bad, but still pretty terrible. That's what you gotta do. More scrolls, thank you. Okay, now we've accidentally done something that's very bad. I mean, we haven't done it. The run has done it. It's given us 3 strength scrolls. Ooh, that's our graveyard key. They've changed the sprite and the name. It used to just be called Key. Quick bow, throws a grenade. It's quick bow 6. Nah, I mean, the fact that we can get a lot of arrows back from enemies using the fire grenade is nice, but I like the ability to like Y then X for guaranteed crit damage from our dagger. So we've gotten 2 scrolls, but they've unfortunately both been for strength. If we end up having a 5-4-5 boss fight against the Watcher, that's probably going to be the most difficult one we've had in quite some time. I don't like how those guys spread out so much when they get created. I understand it. You know, you don't want them all to die to like a single grenade, but I want them all to die to a single grenade, so it creates a little conflict between you and me, see? Wow, I really thought that got me. Oh! That one did. We don't have a respawn as well, so should be a little more careful. It's 2 heals down pretty early. No, the door sprite has changed. But I thought maybe that meant that this was a special door for some reason. So we got Twin Blade 7. Swarm of Biters, fires an arrow. It does do more damage when it's not critting. And it does fire an arrow, and it still has a Swarm of Biters. I think I'll give it a shot. I think that my hunch is that the twin daggers are better in a situation in which you're playing like a control game, because it's a lot easier to land that 3rd hit if you've got them like flashbanged or slowed, frozen, etc., etc. We're playing a game in which we've got burst damage. One day we'll figure that out. We're playing a game in which we got burst damage right now, so wow, smart play. So I'm not convinced that the twin daggers are the right play, but especially because we can enable the crits from the dagger of the accursed cult or whatever as quickly as possible, or as consistently as possible, I should say. But I am still holding the twin daggers, so and they are, like, consistently kind of crushing the enemies. Like, that seems completely fine. I don't know. Maybe we'll try to rock it. It seems like it's going absolutely A-okay right now. Oh, yep. I was a little concerned about that situation. I do have a kebab back there. Sorry, it's meat. It's not a kebab. According to the map, at least. Much to no one's surprise, I would prefer to not use that if possible. Until later, at least. Little lucky, I think. I want to get that first stack of bleed on as quickly as possible, because it is like an extra 100 damage or something like that. Okay, dude, these are pricey. We've got to think about our next run at this point. Unless we have something that's like way, way better, we got to actually consider it. So I do think that's a positive change. Previously, it was like, you know, you're holding a grenade 5, and then a grenade 6 shows up. You're like, yeah, I'll pay 5,000 for that. Why wouldn't I? It makes the run better, and 5,000 gold is nothing. Now it actually does matter. You got to think not just about this run, but about the next run as well. I think that's a very positive change. Oh, no! Dead cells. I was so spooked there. It came back, but I was very scared. Hopefully that wasn't like the video corrupting, in which case I'll be the saddest man on planet Earth, but... Let's go. Let's go. Nope. Only if it does extra damage on a burning target am I going to consider that. So I don't know if I'm hopeful that the wharf is now playable. Oh, you idiot. Or if I'm scared that the wharf is now playable, because we're... it seems like we're going to be a little understated. Such a bad way to handle that. There we go. So we're going to take HP with our first level. Our skills are fine. I don't think we need to focus on skills. And we'll probably take our next level of HP as well. Because again, I think we go from 500 damage. That didn't give me arrows back? Oh no, it did. It just took a second. Well, that's one way to do it. Go from like 500, sorry, not 500 damage, 500 HP to like 700, almost 800 HP, so... To me, it seems very sensible to put another level in HP, get disproportionate advantage out of it. I understand that we also get that same disproportionate advantage out of our skills upgrade. It's just less seeable, if that makes sense. Like, we don't as easily see the damage output from our grenades and stuff like that, as we do with our HP. Because every time we get hit with our HP, we go, oh my god, I wish I had more of this. You lived? I'm not too concerned, because we have a very meat-based diet in-game that's worked out pretty well for us recently, but... like, mildly concerned. Especially because this has got to be the exit, yeah. With no heals left, it's a little dicey to kind of pursue things in this avenue, but... suppose I will consider it. It's like a million little nooks and crannies left here. I don't know why, I'm not sure if this is me, or if this is the most recent update, but I'm having some problem getting down those chains here as well. Like, I seem to snap off of the chains, which is the opposite of the way that I perceive myself to want to handle that, but again, I'm not sure. So we're grinding gold. I do seem to have more gold. I was gonna say more gold left than I normally do at this stage on a run, but I'm not 100% convinced of that. Bloodsword is fun, at least. The twin daggers are doing fine. But our money is gonna be okay. Do, just dance. Charles Dance is gonna be okay. Do, Charles Dance, Tywin Lannister, baby. See, that's Just Dance by Lady Gaga, but with the lyrics changed to, for some reason, be about Charles Dance. I know, there's a fire grenade there. Considering we've been rolling Cluster Bomb 2 for literally the entire game, sort of tempting. But I think it just goes to show you how strong elemental synergy is. That's like, why would I get rid of Cluster Bomb 2 when they are basically Cluster Bomb 20 by virtue of the fact that they do extra damage against a burning target. But anyway, 43 minutes here. It looks like we're probably gonna, well, we're definitely gonna fight the Watcher. We got a 6-4-5 build. That's really bad. It's balanced. Recall, I had no control over that. I never put any points in strength. We just found 4 strength pickups. But I'm not necessarily against him. I mean, we are going to have to smack things down here. So the Watcher. Hopefully the Watcher has not been changed, or if he's been changed to be a little easier. But I'm actually genuinely skeptical of our chances to win this one. The background's changed a little bit, I think. The fire grenade should give us... if it hits an enemy, it should give us ammo back. It does. Okay, so that's actually very important. Because basically we use that to inflict bleed. So we need to get as many stacks of that back as we possibly can. That was so bad. I mean, for right now, this is going fine. It just... also pretty bad. It's substantially worse. It just seems like it's going to take a good deal longer than your average Watcher fight at this point. This would be a good time to heal, honestly. So it's important that we hit with all of our status effects whenever possible. The crits are, like, important, but also, to some extent, a little secondary. Don't do a drop attack on this guy. Every bone in my body's like, do a drop attack. It's a silly idea. Okay, okay. Yep, that was... They've kind of nerfed the roll. I know that seems like a convenient time to bring that up, but you can't spam the roll as often now. Which I think does put us in a much worse position against the tentacles of the Watcher. Sounds like a HP Lovecraft board game. Getting too precious with my daggers here. That was pretty great, though. That was extremely great, though. Should have seen that coming a mile away. Heal up, heal up. Okay, okay. We've used 2 heals. The Watcher's less than half dead, but we've learned some valuable lessons in the process, I hope. Heal up. Still worth it, still worth it. It's very minor health loss there. Believe it or not, I think this was like a much, much better fight against the, or phase against the Watcher than we previously had here. Twin daggers don't allow you to stand in the air. Which makes things a little dicier, but if we make it through this phase, we should be in a pretty good spot. And I think just constantly keep moving. Keep an eye out for the swiping tentacle. Yeah, don't stop to attack as long as we have skills that work. We don't have the HP to tank any hits, so it's important for us that we dodge the attacks that we have no reason to take damage from. That was, by my standards, like preternatural reaction time. Even just getting in like a single hit is A, not worth it, and B, way too risky. Something's going down here. Oh. Yeah, it's not even worth trying to recover the HP, especially when we've got a heal left. That was really bad. Don't heal yet. Wait until this thing's dead. Shouldn't take long. So, that was such a busted attempt. We're in some straight up, like, why won't you die sort of moments here. Okay, we should win now. I've made some pretty face-palmy mistakes here. It's the actual worst way to, like, handle the end of this fight. We were in such a dominant position. I got stun locked on the ground. So, I mean, there's a couple of things to take from that one. I've royally screwed up the fight at the end. 100%. And that sucks at the end of a 15-minute video. But I took damage from, like, 20 preventable attacks in a row. And we were understated, which is my fault for going to the promenade. But, yeah, the new update, it's changed the balance. There's no doubt about that. Things are way more expensive. But for now, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time.